Multi-agency investigation into an alleged dog-fighting operation. Now, these dogs, they were left in various conditions of mistreatment. We're talking about some disturbing images tonight of neglect, covered in scars, others in filthy conditions, some even missing their legs. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Anthony Austin.
I'm Heather Crawford. So investigators say some of these animals may have suffered for years. Our Friha Abrar joins us now with the disturbing details uncovered by Humane World responders this week and the urgent warning tonight that they want everyone to hear. Friha?
Responders on the scene told us when they arrived at each of the 3 properties involved, what they found was heartbreaking. They discovered dogs chained, scarred, severely injured, but rescuing these animals to get them the care they need to heal is heartwarming and what matters right now. A multi-county dogfighting bust Wednesday, weeks in the making, led to a discovery both unthinkable and unforgettable.
The first dog that was closest to where I was stationed, his whole paw was missing, just missing. And yet he was loving and wagging his tail and just sweet and happy to get out of there.
The worst injuries on display, most dogs chained or with little shelter. That's what you call this broken piece of furniture holding 3 dogs, or cramped cages filled with feces. Several had scars and untreated wounds.
So the anxiety for these dogs, they're bored, they're not taken care of, they're in a lot of cases have wounds and they're suffering.
Florida State Director for Humane World for Animals, Kate McFall, says veterinary forensics teams were on site documenting injuries consistent with fighting and prolonged abuse.
Their lives were full of anxiety, but also all the goings on yesterday were, got them, scary. They didn't know what was happening. Thank goodness that these animals are now in a safe place and getting the care and the vet care and the love and the time to decompress and just relax.
That's so hard to see. And, I'm glad they're getting the care that they need, but a lot of people out there, I want to adopt these dogs. Can I adopt them?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people out there want to, but not yet. According to McFall, it's confidential where these animals are getting their treatment right now. And she told me that adopting them out is far down the road on their journey to heal.
Now, you also mentioned that Humane World has a warning for people who are watching tonight. What do they want people to know?
If you see something, say something. Heather, Anthony, these animals in inhumane conditions are only saved by people who can call out for help on their behalf. So keep an eye out for suspicious animal activities in your neighborhood and report accordingly.
Noonan, Georgia. Norman Dixon has been arraigned on federal charges of sponsoring and exhibiting a dog in an animal fighting venture, promoting an animal fighting venture, animal crushing, and wire fraud. The indictment alleges that Dixon viciously abused dogs and repeatedly lied to obtain COVID relief funds, said U.S. Attorney Theodore S. Hertzberg. This depraved and deceitful conduct cannot be tolerated and commands aggressive prosecution. An important part of the mission of the Office of Inspector General is to investigate allegations of fraud involving the unemployment insurance program. This collaborative investigative effort with our federal partners reaffirms our commitment to investigate these types of allegations, said Matthew Broadhurst, Special Agent in Charge, Southeast Region, U.S. Department of Labor, Office of Inspector General. According to U.S. Attorney Hertzberg, the charges and other information presented in court, Dixon is accused of sponsoring and exhibiting dogs in animal fighting ventures on 7 occasions. He is also accused of promoting an animal fighting venture and purposefully suffocating a dog. In addition to the dog fighting and animal abuse-related offenses, Dixon was charged with defrauding the Small Business Administration and a commercial lender by corruptly obtaining Paycheck Protection Program, PPP loans. The indictment alleges, among other untruths, that Dixon submitted a false tax form when obtaining the PPP loans and then lied again when seeking forgiveness for the PPP loans he received. Finally, Dixon was charged with conducting unemployment insurance, UI fraud, by submitting fraudulent claims to the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. The indictment alleges that, to steal UI benefits, Dixon filed false and fraudulent applications for UI benefits on behalf of himself and others. Norman Dixon, 34, of Griffin, Georgia, was arraigned on December 4, 2025, before U.S. Magistrate Judge Russell G. Vineyard. He was indicted by a federal grand jury on October 28, 2025. Members of the public are reminded that the indictment only contains charges. The defendant is presumed innocent of the charges, and it will be the government's burden to prove the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. This case is being investigated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Office of Inspector General, and the U.S. Department of Labor. Office of Inspector General. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Alex Sisla and Samir Kaushal are prosecuting the case. On May 17, 2021, the Attorney General established the COVID-19 Fraud Enforcement Task Force to marshal the resources of the Department of Justice in partnership with agencies across government to enhance efforts to combat and prevent pandemic-related fraud. The task force bolsters efforts to investigate and prosecute the most culpable domestic and international criminal actors and assists agencies tasked with administering relief programs to prevent fraud by, among other methods, augmenting and incorporating existing coordination mechanisms, identifying resources and techniques to uncover fraudulent actors and their schemes, and sharing and harnessing information and insights gained from prior enforcement efforts.